This landscape is like nothing I've ever seen before. I've traveled quite a bit.
It's like a totally different place. Nothing like I've ever raced before.
It's a great location, it's a great canvas for what is a spectacular event. It's a beautiful part of the world. The event is going to be spectacular.
The field here is definitely pretty stacked, and a lot of the best obstacle course racers from around the world have come here to race, so I'm excited for that.
It's going to be a very competitive race for sure. A lot of good women are coming, and I come from a Nordic country, so I'm used to like way colder weather, so I'm excited to see how I will respond to like racing in 38, 40 degrees Celsius. Anything can happen, I think, in that kind of weather and in this terrain.
I think AlUla is a nice region. I've seen the old town. It's very cool to see this heritage and traditional buildings. For the rest, I find the environment very interesting. On the one hand, you have the flat plains, but then a lot of these rocky, small mountains. So it's a very challenging terrain, I think, and it's a beautiful area.
Welcome to AlUla, Saudi Arabia, where the best of the obstacle course racing world have descended upon the desert to take on the Arabian Warrior Pro 10K race. It is hot, there is not any shade in sight. We're talking 40 degrees plus Celsius, 107 degrees Fahrenheit. The athletes are in for not only a demanding course, but extremely challenging temperatures to race in today.
Yeah, Bracken, if you look at the lineup right here, you're seeing Richard Heineck. He's won multiple world championships in Spartan race in the past. This is the murderer's row lineup. You have 13 former world champion podium athletes on the men's side, and on the women's side, you have arguably the 4 fastest women in the world right now in OCR. They've all descended in AlUla, and this lineup is ridiculous.
I said no shade in sight. There is shade in the festival area, and as you can see, every single athlete is fighting for space out of the sun because they're about to spend nearly an hour baking in that sun. So warm-ups are challenging, but the warm-ups are now done. There's no hiding from it now. We're going to head out for our pre-race briefing, and we are going to see some of the best athletes on the planet get ready to go to work.
Yep, you can see a lot of these athletes, Manuel Defoe there on the right, just threw a cold towel down. A lot of athletes are wearing light clothing, anything to stay cool. I know that a lot of the women were putting ice in some of their clothing just to keep their body temperature down before the start. But look at this lineup from right to left. You've got some of the best in the sport, mostly from Europe, a couple of the top Americans. This race is going to be so competitive.
Jack, take us through some of the men and women we're seeing here with colors of hats and shirts so that we can pick them out as the race begins here.
Right there, Nicole Miracle with the white hat and Elisa Petrova. Those two are in the front row. Just to Nicole's, or the left of Nicole, you have Ulrika Evensen and Sabrina Daolio. Those are probably the 4 favorites in the race. Here we go.
This is a fast course when it's fast, and it is a challenging course when it's challenging. We begin with hard-packed sand. We cross the road. We cross the world-famous AlUla Camel Cup track, and then we head down some fairly hard-packed dirt and pavement, and then they kick out left onto the course, and the real racing begins.
Yeah, and have you ever seen a race where Nicole Miracle does not go right to the front? We're seeing exactly what we expected, but the queen of the desert herself, Elisa Petrova, is no stranger to going out with Nicole, so I think the two of them are going to be battling for a long time during this race.
Fast forward in reverse, Jack, a few months, and this is the exact battle we saw play out in the desert dunes for several hours, and they're picking up right where they left off. Elisa Petrova has decided that she is not going to let any gap appear between her and Nicole. Nicole, at her best, runs away from every woman on this planet in the sport of obstacle course racing. And Alyssa is making sure that this cannot get away early.
Yeah, and a little obstacle like this, you saw some flat running beforehand. This just blows up your quads a little bit, breaks up the rhythm. These are some pretty deep mounds with some loose sand. And you can see right here, Elisa built up 3-4 second gap over Nicole right there. Now Nicole needs to throw in a surge to make her way, catch back up with the lead pack. And there's Henriette from Denmark catching up.
One small obstacle, instant 30-meter gap Alyssa has built in, which is going to be needed when Nicole gets to running. And Jack, we saw the day before, we ran this course to get a feel for it. You came out of that obstacle with your shoes full, and I mean full, of sand and dirt.
Yeah, 2 minutes into the race, if you've got rocks that are going to be in your shoes the rest of the race, that's a big disadvantage. So you can see some of them are wearing gaiters. And speaking of things that are much needed, that water gap or that water obstacle right there, where they got to get cool as Sabrina emerges from the water. There are several locations on the course where the athletes are going to be cool. So despite the hot temperatures, they're at least able to cool off a little bit mid-race.
Yeah, this race starts at 2:15 in the afternoon. We are in the complete heat of the day. And Sabrina is an athlete who's really been on the come up this year. I would consider this her breakout year, and it's really exciting to see her on this stage competing against the who's who of the sport to find out where she really stacks up.
Yeah, Sabrina's at a little bit of a disadvantage coming from South Africa, where there isn't a whole lot of competition for her to go head to head. So she often has to travel to the Middle East or Europe to take on better competition. But right now, Nicole and Elisa are in a league of their own, despite Sabrina and Ulrika in the field.
Here we are a kilometer in, and it's still a dead heat. And as you can see on the terrain, we've started to hit these really broken up rocky sections. They just span the width of the desert in bands across here, and it makes it highly technical to run through. So even though this section is pancake flat, those rocks are extremely difficult to run with pace through.
Definitely a few rolled ankles on this, and some of this sand, it's hard packed. Other spots, it's kind of what you'd expect in some sand dune areas. So you've got a variety of surfaces that they're going to be running on, but it seems like Elisa gets the advantage on every single obstacle so far, and then Nicole, once she gets off the obstacle, is able to surge ahead. Let's see if that trend continues.
Second water crossing, again, much needed. This allows the athletes a chance to drop that temperature just slightly. And if anything, if nothing else, the mental refresh of the water compared to just how hot this effort is starting to make them.
Yeah, you got an 8-second gap right there, and I know there's a water station shortly after this, so I believe the two of them are going to stop at every single location to cool off throughout the race.
Now, Nicole has started to really press the issue on the run, but we have our first obstacle failure of the day.
Okay, so footing, let's see, can Elisa make it up? Yep, she made it over that. So clearly, Nicole just didn't have enough speed running up it. Looks like she's backing off a little bit.
Oh, two in a row. Plus the skin off your knees coming down.
Mm-hmm. And they had a 2-attempt policy where you have to give 2 honest efforts to make it over, and then you're able to bypass it. Looks like Ulrika and Sabrina, wow, Elisa's the only woman in the top 4 who was able to successfully make it up there.
That is a shockingly difficult obstacle. You see it in the distance and think just another A-frame wall to get over, but in reality, it is slick and much steeper and taller than you anticipate.
And we were talking about fast running on the women's side. Look at the guy in orange at the front with the backwards white hat, Gregory Basilico. This man is arguably the fastest pure runner in OCR history. Look at the speed that these guys are going out with. This men's race is going to be ridiculous.
So calling out the lineup here, Jack, so we can identify athletes. We have Gregory Basilico, reigning world champ, in the orange singlet. Directly behind him in the white t-shirt along with gray shorts and black shoes, we have Ryan Atkins, maybe the greatest to ever have done this sport of ours.
Yep. And then in the black singlet next to him, Stan Legrand, Brendan Neely behind him, Yessa DeHare. I could go on and on just listing athletes with amazing credentials, but right now you can tell how fast this race is since it's already stringing out single file less than a minute into the race. This is absolutely ridiculous, their pace.
Yeah, and to be doing this with 40 degrees Celsius temperature, to be 107 degrees air temperature, no shade, there is wind, but it alternates between relieving and like an oven blast to the face. This is a really high intensity run to use at the start of a 45-50 minute race in this type of heat.
Yep, and some athletes, the guy on camera right there, Ryan Atkins, just know how to race well in the heat. He's always going to stay within, his comfort level. He knows the exact line where he can push the till without going over that. And I know other athletes, they're definitely going to overheat later in the race. But look at Basilico moving over this thing. He was sprinting over that thing. That's crazy.
Such aggression in the way he's attacking the early part of this race. Now, often in an obstacle like this, you can take a running leap into the water, but they have those guidelines early on that you have to get down and under, and that negates a little bit of that speed advantage.
Yep, and Bracken, we'll give a little look behind the camera. You and I were rabbiting, meaning we were the ones with the cameras, keeping up with the athletes, getting some of the coverage. I was very nervous when I saw the pace that these guys were going out with. For at this point in the race, most of them are running about 305 to 310 kilometer pace, which is low 5-minute pace on this broken terrain. It was absurd how fast they were running.
Yeah, through the first mile for the non-metric fans out there, it was roughly 540 going in and out of those rolling mud, in and out of the water, down the drainage ditch. Anytime they're running flat, they're running 3-ish minute kilometers and right around 450 to 5-minute mile pace on this type of terrain and this type of heat.
And it's not just one of them doing it. You've got a whole field strung along within contention. So at this point in the race, though, you can see arguably the 3 heavy favorites for the podium. You've got Gregory, Ryan, and Stein all within a couple seconds of each other at this wall. But look at this, Ryan Atkins, he started a few seconds behind, he gets off a second ahead. That man just knows how to cut seconds where it matters.
And he started that surge prior to the obstacle. He actually closed on Gregory on that second stage of running there, which on paper, Gregory ran 30 flat in a 10K over the past few months. Ryan's not considered the runner out of these two, and yet Ryan has made a concerted effort to commit to the run, to not let Gregory do his thing and get away on the run so that he's around to push the issue on the obstacles. He's pushing still here.
Definitely, and I talked with Ryan before this race. He said that he thinks he's at about 230 pace, or 230 shape for a full marathon. Gregory's probably 10 minutes faster than that, but they're side by side because Ryan just does stuff like that where he saves a couple of seconds on each obstacle, doesn't get as fatigued, and emerges from it with a full stride. Let's not overlook Pablo Lardina, who's had a lot of success in the desert as well. He was right side by side with Stein in 4th place right there.
For the first time, we see some of the effort starting to stack up on these men. We're far enough in, about 2K now, that the heat's starting to really get there, and we saw the strides close down for 1 second coming out of that water. But right away, Ryan and Gregory are back up to pace.
Yeah, cooling off feels great, but then you realize you have to get right back up to stride after. It's a big rhythm breaker, and the athletes were just wet, and I know that they've got that slanted wall coming up, so footwear choice might affect this upcoming obstacle.
It will, and athletes were split on whether to go trail shoes or road shoes for this race. You can see there is a lot of hard-packed, fast running, but there's enough soft, technical running that athletes really were unsure. And as you can see, Ryan went trail shoes. He got out of the water and got to work. Gregory, as we see,
oh my God, he's in track spikes. That's what he's wearing, right? Look at this surge.
Break into full speed to get up this ramp here.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone break into a full stride like that mid-race. But look at it. Was it worth it? They got off at the same exact time, and Gregory just used all that energy.
Well, he didn't have to redo the obstacle, but at the same time, Atkins, again, managed to do the Ryan Atkins thing and close that down. Back to what we were saying, Ryan seems to come out of the water a little quicker, and road shoes really just aren't designed to get muddy, dirty, and wet, and there may be some sloppy slippage that occurs until the foot settles back into that shoe. It'll be interesting to see moving forward. The race will get drier as we go. Right up until the finish, though, there is another water obstacle. And look at these two. There's not more than a centimeter or two between them at times.
Bracken, you're the shoe expert. What are they wearing in case you're an athlete watching this and you want to do an Arabian Warrior race in the future?
Well, despite being on opposite ends of the spectrum, they are both wearing Hokas. Gregory has the Hoka Rocket X2s, and Atkins has the Hoka Tecton X3s. Both carbon-plated shoes, but one's for the trail, one's for the road.
It looks like Atkins had a little bit of an issue with the pulley on that. They've added some weight for the Pro Heat right there. You can see a ram on it. Well, they still get out at the same time, but I think that was a little frustrating for Atkins.
Yeah, this is an obstacle he should have a decided advantage on, and the winch of his pulley was locked. He ended up coming off at the same time despite switching lanes, so he lost his apparent advantage there. But look at this. This is like a pit stop coming in here. Men are flying in left and right as the women are on approach.
Yeah, that battle for the third podium spot is going to be insane. But at the moment, the battle for 1-2, Nicole has a clear lead heading into Chop Chop.
Although she was starting to look a little distressed. Did you see that water signal? She's calling for water. They announced, sorry, water's after the carry. You've got to finish it. And this is a game-changing rule in that the log has to remain above your head at all times. You can put it down, but you cannot progress with the log either on the ground or touching your head. And this is not a light log, Jack. What are we looking at?
It's the same weight for the men's and women's race, and I would say that probably weighs about 25 kilograms, maybe about 60 pounds. It's not heavy, but when it's up over your head for over a minute, like some of these athletes are doing, you can see Nicole has to take a break, and she has some ridiculous upper body strength, strength to weight ratio as a fantastic rock climber, but AlUla was able to make a move right there.
Yeah, and for an Olympic lifter or a CrossFitter, 20 kilos above your head is not challenging. But for an endurance athlete, in the midst of competition, elevated heart rate, doing an entirely different activity prior, 20 kilos suddenly gets real heavy really quickly.
Yeah, and a taller athlete like Sabrina, she's going to have to lock out more. AlUla, you can see that she has the bent arms. I think that's actually a little more difficult to hold it that way. Ulrika right there, she actually had a major elbow injury about a year ago, so this could present some challenges for her.
You know, I think a lot of this is not choice, this is survival. The bent arm strategy, I think that is fighting against the arms giving out.
Yeah, and this right here, this moment, maybe a minute after doing the overhead log carry, this obstacle for tire toss might be one of the biggest game changers in the entire race.
We are used to seeing some sort of skill-based, non-strength, non-endurance-based obstacle, a task that changes races. Oftentimes it's spear throw. Here it's the tire toss. They must throw it and it must land back on the log and remain on the log. Oh, so on and off.
Yep, you can see it hit the log, but it must remain at rest right there. And AlUla, Sabrina, they've done Arabian warrior races in the past, so they might be a little bit more confident on this obstacle. It's challenging. Bracken, you and I went out there and thought that we'd nail it our first time. We're pretty good throwers, and it just wasn't working. See how Nicole goes.
Oh, that was not a practiced throw. Now, this is the type of obstacle where you cannot bypass it. As she has gone, you must complete this. Whether you use 3 attempts or 30 or 300, you are there until you finally rack that tire.
Yeah, it definitely mandatory obstacle completion on everything is a big game changer. Nicole's definitely been a fan of that in previous obstacle races, but I feel like this particular obstacle, she's like, oh man, this cost me some time. Wow, we see Sabrina move into second place. As I mentioned, she's run Arabian Warrior in the past, so her ability to do this obstacle is clearly paying off.
And we see some of the women switching lanes, trying to find any way to manufacture a completion of that obstacle. But now we're seeing our leader here just kind of run away with it. She probably had 60 seconds gap before the next woman, which would be Sabrina, made it through here. But AlUla is just free running now.
Yeah, and you wonder if, the gap that she and Nicole created early on is too much to overcome, especially in this heat. At this point, I noticed that AlUla's pace was slowing a little bit, and the gap seemed to be closing from the athletes behind her. But she's won world championships and podiums so many times at the world level, it's no surprise she still is a lead at this point.
Now here's a spot where if you ended up going road shoes, you're in for a wild ride, because going down the embankment is probably 200 feet and it is loose, it is incredibly rocky, and it's sketchy all the way down to the bottom here.
That's the first time we haven't seen her open up her stride. That just shows you how unstable the rock and how loose it is right there. What would you say, 30, 35? There's a much better view of it. What, 30, 35% grade?
35 minimum.
Minimum, yeah, just so steep. And guess what? You can see that tape right there. Now you got to go right back up right after you come down.
So she's cooling herself, trying to bring that temperature down, or at least the feeling of the temperature down, with the water over the body, drinking some, but heading right back up. And as you can see, this stuff is loose. There's no easy way up this. Every few steps, your feet slide out from underneath you as we get to the top and watch more pull action.
Yeah, and you can actually see AlUla in the background. So what's that, maybe 100 meters distance between them, but most of that's uphill. So that's where the real time gap is going to come in.
We're over 2 minutes at this point.
Probably,
still working our way up. You can see how rarely does the incline show up as steep as it is. This captures it fairly well. This is steep.
Yeah, I mean, running up with the camera while some of the fastest athletes on the planet are doing this, it's no easy task. And I mean, you could just see the exhaustion on some of their bodies at this point.
And not to just spend way too much time bringing this up every few minutes, but it's 107 degrees out. That incline feels a whole lot longer and steeper than it normally would.
Yep, and you can see in the background all the mountains, the sand dunes. There were certain areas, or areas in this race venue that they just weren't able to touch. So they tried adding some elevation by putting that climb on that steep rock right there. So the course designers did a pretty good job getting in some elevation, even though it was a difficult task.
Well, and where do you find a rock scramble at 35 to 40% grade on there? It's a unique feature, and I love it.
Yep. Okay, so easy wall. You can see Elisa gets rid of the water. I'm sure she's gonna pick that up right after and use it to stay hydrated, cool down. How many times have we seen her stop for water this entire race? Many.
I'd say, look at that.
Yeah.
I'd say that we have seen people get water more in this race than almost any race we've ever seen.
Yeah, probably halfway, or a little more than halfway through the 10K at this point, and they're cooling off. They're getting hydrated more than a 3-hour half marathon race.
Jack and our run yesterday, we were both 10 to 15 beats higher than we would ever be at the pace we were running, simply from the exertion on our body to live in this type of heat.
Yeah,
more water splashing, anything to stay cool.
Yep. Does her stride look like it's slowing down a little bit? Like she doesn't look as aggressive as she was early in the race.
You know, she's a compact runner as it is, so I think her form degrades less than most, but I don't know how you wouldn't be laboring a bit at this point. Well over a half hour in. Do we see a pass there in the water?
They went in the same exact lane. I was a little surprised by that, to be honest. They had 4 different lanes there, but it looks like Ulrika was able to pull ahead of Sabrina briefly.
I've never seen people choose the same lane like that when given the opportunity to go elsewhere.
Yeah, you don't want to bump into someone. And look at these this is real barbed wire, everybody.
This is low.
This is real low and nasty. That's not like nice sand that you'd find at a beach in Florida. That is some nasty surface.
No, that looks nice, but that is full of rocks.
Yeah, very deceiving. Okay, so they're taking opposite sides. They went in the same lane for the cage crawl, but they opposite sides for barbed wire crawl. Interesting.
Slight decline back here. We're gonna recross the road and the camel track, and you can see she's opening back up.
Yep, this is one of the rare instances that they go on some pavement and then right into that maybe 50-meter wide section of the loose sand, and then it's gonna be right back onto that hard-packed rock.
And now we're less than 2K from the finish. This is the time where if you have something left, now is the time to spend it.
Yep, and this is only rings right here. The rule is you must start at the first ring, so you can't just jump over and try to get ahead. It's a pretty long reach. I'm 6'1", and I struggled reaching 2 of them at the same time with a single swing. So I think that the most you'll be able to do is skip 1 and grab every other one.
You see the race director there, a previous athlete came through and hit the bell so hard it got stuck on top of the rig, so he had to use the official high 5 obstacle finisher to completion.
It's always good to get a high 5 in a race. All right, so we see Atkins pulling ahead. Now we jump back to the men's race of Gregory. That battle for third with Stein maybe 10 seconds ahead of Pavel right there. Pavel's a very strong athlete, so he's going to definitely stay in contention on that point.
Here we are, tire toss. This mattered on the women's side. What's going to happen for the men? Ryan's one and done. Looks like it hung up on the lip there.
Doesn't matter. Didn't hit the ground. Gregory hit it as well. Okay, the 2 of them, no separation like we saw between Elisa and Nicole.
Pavel with a miss.
We got Gustav right there. Oh, yep. Brendan Neely hits it.
So 2 of the top 3 stuck it on the lip of the tire.
It's kind of like a carnival game where you need to throw it just at the certain angle if you want it to stick.
But I'm glad they both got a little lucky here because it didn't deprive us of this epic battle that's starting to take shape here. What are we now? 25 minutes minimum into this race, and these 2 are still not separated by more than a stride at any point.
No, and you can see the terrain. They keep going up and down, changing the surface type. They're getting in all the different terrain, and they're still stride for stride right there. Like you mentioned earlier, they could bang elbows next to each other. That's how close they are the whole race.
And this whole ridge is it was more than slightly uphill, and now it's leveled out to just slightly uphill. this point in the race with this heat, it's just a brutal grade to run on.
And yeah, so if you're looking at an obstacle like this, they're basically coming in at the same time. I think Atkins, he'll probably emerge 2-3 seconds ahead just because of just he's a little bit more nimble of an athlete.
He's more nimble, he's more practiced. No one's done more obstacles than this man. And he's done it from 3K distance all the way up to 24-hour distance. He has the ultimate efficiency on these type of obstacles.
Now, if you're getting in the mind of Atkins and Basilica, what are you thinking at this moment? Gregory knowing he's the faster runner, but Atkins knowing that he's the better obstacler. They're still, side by side throughout this entire race. How would you attack the rest of the race knowing that you've probably got under 15 minutes left?
Well, they both are aware of what's happening. They're yo-yoing slightly. Ryan extends on every little into and out of obstacles, and Gregory, if he wants to, can press any run that he feels like. So one of them has to snap that tether. Gregory either has to build up a lead knowing that I could lose it on any obstacle, I need a bigger one, or Ryan might want to start pressing him, which it looks like he's doing now, to maybe run the legs off of him so he can't make some sort of crazy surge on me, because Gregory is known for not steady racing. He surges randomly, haphazardly, kind of dangerously. He just surges. He doesn't seem to care about the cost. And Ryan pulls it slightly ahead again. Gregory is a surging style racer, which can be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and if you saw Ryan, he went to the right knowing that they're going to do a hairpin turn to the right. Like he's getting a few steps ahead every single time. He's taking the tangents. He's positioning himself really well, and Gregory seems to just arrive at the obstacle, just pick the closest one and then go for it. It's interesting seeing the different strategy between them.
They were running for a portion of that too. Any chance they get with any getting traction and gaining purchase up there, they're trying to run their way up, and at some point you're reduced to power hiking, but this hill is no gimme.
No, and honestly, I'm really impressed with Stein and Pavel right there. They're probably within 45 seconds still at this point. I know that the win might be out of the question, but that's a good battle for third.
Well, the last time we saw Gregory in the desert like this, he was minutes ahead. So the fact that A, he has company, and B, there is a chase pack in sight, that shows the level of what these other gentlemen are putting out right now. Same thing here, you got to touch the first and last one. No jumping and skipping the first or last, but you can swing through the middle. And Ryan, again, making a quick move through here. And there, you see the Atkins acceleration out. You know the end is starting to be in sight when you see him start to aggressively leave obstacles.
That right there was an 11-second swing right there. I started and stopped it right there. You knew that Atkins was licking his chops at a true obstacle that took some skill to get through. You saw Gregory get hung up. This is an obstacle race. This is not just a trail race.
Well, and yesterday they ran the 20K out here. 2 laps of this course. Ryan got to get a feel for where can I have an opportunity? Where can I manufacture some space here? And the moment he felt that he was getting that there, he pressed the issue. Whether this lead's going to stick or not remains to be seen, but when you have an opportunity to separate from a man of this caliber, you got to take it, and he did.
Yep, and so now you've got Walls, and I just mentioned that it was an 11-second swing. He's made 7-8 of those seconds up in the course of 300 meters.
Yeah, he has an ability to press on the runs like very few people we've ever seen in the sport of obstacle course racing.
Yeah, and Ryan, definitely, he's one of the more aggressive barbed wire crawlers out there. So actually, I think they're going to hit the cage first, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I got out of order. Yep.
Second to last water submersion of the day. Interesting. I liked something about that third to outside lane there. Deterred from his tangent to get on over there.
Yeah, I think one of the volunteers directed him to that one.
Interesting.
Yeah, but regardless, got a little break from the heat, getting cool. He still has a noticeable lead on Gregory.
And he's flying
side by side. Yeah, Atkins is moving at this point.
Not super easy terrain to get through. Now it's starting to ease off a little bit, but on right to the barbed wire.
Just dives right. Wow, I'm surprised. Oh wow, it's just barehanded. That's a crazy tactic right there. Okay, so still got a little bit of a gap on Stein, but looks like Atkins got a maybe 2-second lead for Ryan.
Yeah, I think the way to go is hugged up against the side. We saw that on the female side, people were trying that as well. That middle, Ryan had to lift it off him like a blanket. That is not ideal at this stage of the race. I mean, at any point in a race, but especially late when you're trying to protect the lead.
Yeah, and look at this battle just outside the podium. You've got Richard, you got Dries. I couldn't see a couple others, but the depth in this field is unreal.
Richard Heineck, who's been training for High Rocks the last few months, still running with some of the best in the world here.
Yep, he's looking big and strong these days.
All right, touch the first ring, then move on from there. Gregory did a little jump touch there. And
Interesting.
Is this the first time we've seen Atkins lose ground on a hanging-based obstacle in a while?
I did not see that happening right there, but good on Gregory. A lot of people think that he's only a good runner. He's very competent on obstacles. Realistically, it's just Ryan is one of the best ever to do it.
And you see what a slight hiccup has. Instantly, 10 meters.
They basically traded off what happened on the tire hang for right here for hanging garden. So the two of those hanging obstacles just offset each other.
But now we're at 2K to go. 1,500 meters of that is flat desert running. Not a great time for Ryan to have a gap to the best runner in the sport, as we see Elisa still powering ahead, no one in sight.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the gap. Has Nicole been able to close it at all? Nope, doesn't look like she's with Ulrika or Sabrina, but they're having the same battle for second and third right here that we were seeing between Ryan and Gregory. This battle for the second podium spot is going to be fantastic.
So we got a glimpse as Alyssa kicked over. She had the Hoka Tecton X2s on. That's the second version of Ryan's shoe. And then we saw that Ulrika had the Adidas Terex Agravic Pro Ultra, however many names they want to slap together there. That's a plated shoe as well. And then Sabrina had the Pulsar Pro, which has a version of a plate in there as well. So it seems like the popular choice, even off-road running here, is they're getting into plates in this terrain.
Sometimes I think you're just making up words for shoe names.
It certainly seems that way with some of these brands, doesn't it?
Yeah. So they've got to crawl underneath the tube. You can see Elisa emerging.
Not going to be good for Sabrina versus Ulrike through there.
Mm-hmm. Big size advantage right there.
Half of a foot size difference.
This is a nice creative obstacle where you crawl under it. Then you're going to have to climb up a cargo net, another skill-based thing, and then you get cold again. It's probably not scary for the athletes, but jumping off of something into some unknown depth of water,
Plus, you go under a little further than you'd expect. You're already gasping. That's a veteran move to remove her hat prior. Otherwise, you hit the water, the hat floats away. You have to get it. You can't leave it behind or you're disqualified. So good on her to get the hat in hand before dismounting.
Yep, and you can see right there, it looks like Sabrina is actually ahead of Ulrika right there.
Oh, that's a
you
gap.
can see him in the background. That might be 10 seconds. So that size advantage for Ulrika getting through that, she better take advantage of that because Sabrina, there's not too much till the finish and she has a nice gap.
No, and with that crawl and then this low tunnel is unique to anything I've ever done in this sport. Yeah. This is way longer than it seems and you can't get up to full heights. We see here, I mean, she's not a tall athlete and she's hunched over.
Yeah, this is a very, very creative obstacle, and you see the two of them side by side. Like I imagine that Sabrina and Ulrika will take different ones, and who knows who's going to come out first. But it's such a cool visual. You've got that light at the end of the tunnel, literally, and you're just counting down the steps until you reach the end of it. But she's probably only halfway through it at this point. It is a quad burner. Your neck's hurting. You're crouching down. This is one of the coolest obstacles I've ever seen.
Your hips and lower back are, but look at, she just looked up and thought, how am I still going? She's slowing. And there is a bit of, she could stand up higher, but there's little ridges every 3 meters. If you hit your head on this is concrete. It's going to rock you. And because it's concrete, you can't hear what's happening on the other tunnel. So it's absolutely messing with your mind knowing, oh, she just caught her head up there a little bit.
Yep. Bang.
You could go into this ahead and come up behind. And the thought of that combined with how uncomfortable it is just messes with you.
And there was no visual to the person in the other one if someone goes in side by side. So fortunately, there was enough of a gap between her and second and third place that she didn't have to worry about that. But Elisa looks like she's going to take home the win comfortably as she gets over the final quarter pipe.
Good acceleration there, still available to her at the end of this race. This has been a demanding race, and she looked quick moving up that thing, which you have to be to get to the top.
Yep, and she won the 20K the day before, so she wasn't exactly coming into this race on fresh legs.
You know, and a lot of these athletes did a team race this weekend as well. Some of them are on their third race in this type of heat, and it's gotten hotter every day.
Yeah, And as she approaches the final obstacle, the A-frame cargo net, you can see just the beautiful mountain backdrop there. This is a gorgeous venue.
It really is. And this is, again, slightly uphill. She's flying. She's running really well, but this is slightly uphill. At the end of all of this, to be in soft sand, running uphill, no part of this course is a gimme.
Yep, and you could see some of the tape was a little just, it looked like it was blown away. There was a crazy windstorm that happened just before the start of the race, so messed up a little towards the end, but overall they did a great job making sure that the course is in great condition for these athletes.
Tents are flying left and right, but nothing has gotten in the way of Alyssa Petrova taking home first place and the title of Arabian Warrior Champion out here in the AlUla Desert.
She is known as the Queen of the Desert in OCR for a reason. I think she's the best female athlete on the planet. And wow, look at that. The tunnel for sure made a difference. We have Ulrika in second place. She's pumping her arms. She knows the finish line is close, but she must have made a huge move on those final two obstacles.
That tube crawl with the tunnel run was made for her stature. Now, she still had to do it. They are still exhausting, but she had one shot. She took it, and she has capitalized on it. But is she going to make it to the top of this? She is on fumes here.
Yeah, and she's one of those athletes who
Still
did multiple races already this weekend, and she's moving up this thing with a purpose. I think she's got this locked up, but that is quite the surge in the final couple minutes of the race to take that second spot.
That was unreal. And the way she looked running up the last few steps, I thought we might see maybe even a feint or a pass out, but she powered right up over the top of that thing.
Yep. Fantastic finish. Congratulations, Ulrika. And third place, Sabrina Daolio, all the way from South Africa. She's run Arabian Warrior before, and her experience got her that podium spot. A little surprising Nicole didn't make it, but it was a fantastic 1-2-3 on the women's side.
And oh my goodness, this men's race just continues to heat up. We are in full flight here. At this point, we are running between 245 and 250 per kilometer. This is 440, 450 mile pace. These men are flying, and we're still 1,500 meters from the finish.
Yeah, it's maybe a 1%, 2% downhill. Just, you can look at the stride. That is not a normal OCR stride. These guys are opening up, and they can see what's ahead of them. There's not too much distance to the finish line, and it's the two fastest guys in the sport right now going head to head, which is what every single fan of the sport is dreaming of.
And Ryan just continues to sink his teeth into this. He has every right to get dropped in this section of running with the running pedigree that Basilico has, and yet he just keeps fighting back onto his shoulder. A stride appears, and then he closes it right back up and even starts to edge ahead at times.
You can't break Ryan Atkins. He's shown that for the greater part of over a decade, probably a dozen years at this point, that doesn't matter how fast you are, Ryan Atkins is going to be able to hang with you from start to finish.
These men are in the middle of an off-road desert 10K, and they're closing this down running 5K pace or under. Ryan sneaks a little bit of a gap.
That 1 second that now Gregory has to put in a little bit of extra work to catch up to him. Oh man, they're getting real close. You can see some of the cars going by in the background. That was some of the staff and the support crew. They're just as invested in this race as the fans were.
Quick check over his left shoulder. Atkins takes stock of how Basilico's doing. The fact that he hasn't surged by is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if Atkins is holding back a little bit. Like Gregory, you would imagine if he has something left and this is just a flat open running section, he's going to go. So this is a little surprising that he's leaving it till this late.
I mean, they're running so fast though. So fast.
Yeah, Gregory might be thinking ahead for the tunnel. He might have known something about it yesterday doing the 20K where he's like, okay, maybe I can make a move there. But you're kind of crazy if you let Ryan Atkins in the picture with only a few minutes to go. Yeah, picking it up.
That is a noticeable surge. That is a gear change right there. And Ryan opens up as well.
Yeah, his arms are okay. Yep, Gregory is extending right now. Ryan Atkins going to the arms at the moment. I know that they're still about a minute away from the crawl, but they're going for it.
We're used to, in the sport of OCR, seeing the results of these battles come in out of the woods or off the mountain. We rarely get to see how we get to this spot. And this is fascinating to me to see the dynamics of these two surging at each other, battling for the right to get into the festival grounds with a lead.
That's a great point. Like, how many times have we seen races where the finish is 15 seconds apart and you just assume that they're side by side? but in reality, someone's just taking it easy towards the end and they had a gap all race. This is not the case today. These two athletes have been battling from the start, never more than a couple seconds apart.
We have another surge here.
I don't know. Gregory
Man,
just looks like he's just ready to go.
Seems like whenever he wants to, he has another surge at the ready. Another stride, another surge, another lean forward, and the arms pump a little harder. And Atkins, this is as stretched out and going to the arms as I've seen as another crazy surge.
Yeah, he's going. Gregory knew this was his moment. Look at that. Within 5 seconds, he's got 50 meters, or probably not 50, maybe like 50 feet.
20, 25 meters just in the span of 10 seconds. Look at that. He's disappearing into the sun.
Yeah. I was the cameraman on this moment, and I was like, I'm going to have to cut across. I was not ready for that move. That was spectacular what he just did.
He enters the tunnel. He's the smaller framed athlete for this crawl.
7-second gap right there by the time Atkins ended up in there. It looks like Gregory is in the leftmost one, and Ryan will be in number 2.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa! Atkins comes out.
What did he do to accomplish that?
What? Unreal. Just throws off the sunglasses. Oh my God, that was incredible.
Is that a hat he lost there?
I don't think he cares. How did he make up that ground? I don't think I've ever seen an athlete.
Oh, hat's back. I wonder what flew there. That was just water, or hat's back on, glasses are back on, maybe a headband flew.
That was one of the more impressive moves I've ever seen in OCR.
Gregory was gone. That race was over. Gregory was gone and nearly around the bend out of sight.
He sprinted ahead to create a gap, and it was all for nothing. Oh, now we've got that dream matchup, tunnel versus tunnel. Who's going to come out for... Oh, man.
There's a noticeable difference in cadence. Atkins is shuffle jogging. Gregory seems to have an ability to run through this.
Yeah,
again,
like
frame matters.
I would have brought a helmet if I was Atkins and just worn that just to protect your head, but it does look noticeable that Gregory is moving faster. Ryan is kind of hiking at this point.
I mean, they're both stretched to their absolute limit here, but they can't hear or see each other. They have no clue.
Oh, Gregory's going to get out first. He's out.
Oh my goodness, this can be a 10-second gap plus by the time this comes out.
Oh, easily. Oh my God, we just saw two unbelievable 10-second gaps in a couple of obstacles back to back. That side-by-side visual is amazing.
Gregory went from blowout to losing to blowout in 2 minutes.
That's unreal. It's too late at this point. I don't think that Atkins can make it up. Gregory's clearly got enough in the tank with only the A-frame cargo net, but
he's
Atkins
charging.
Oh yeah, no, he does not. He's unwilling to settle for second place. He's going to give it his all.
And it bears repeating. It's so hot to be racing with this level of intensity. Another look back, a near stumble.
30 plus kilometers on their legs at this point over the weekend.
Oh, a step through, a slip.
Gregory's the first. Okay, Atkins has not crossed the road yet.
Oh, another pause. Another pause.
He's taking his time.
I don't think he's taking anything.
I
think he's taking what he has.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's going to be just enough to do it. He is on fumes, but Gregory Basilico is going to cross the finish line first, and maybe the best bet. He better hurry up across because Ryan's still charging.
That was one of the best battles start to finish that I have ever seen among two of the best in the sport's history. Absolutely sold it out. Look at just pouring water. Arabian Warriors.
The cost.
Yeah, they knew it was really hot. They had a bunch of ice buckets around for the other athletes, but amazing battle 1-2. Looks like Stein Legrand ended up getting the best of Pablo Lordina, so he is appearing like he will be your third place finisher to wrap out the podium. Bracken, you want to take it home?
Stein has really come on the scene. He has time for a look back, a salute to the crowd and to the course. His last 12 months have been really incredible for someone who's still so young and new to the sport and has only been running for 3 years. He's just been doing it at an incredibly high level. A well-earned third place. He was caught in a battle all day before he finally managed to break through. And that completes your podium of the Arabian Warrior 10K Pro Men and Women. This race delivered more than we could have expected. Until next time, Arabian Warrior.
Today I raced 10 kilometers. Yesterday I did 20 and today 10. It was super hard and very, very fast because all the girls are so strong and fast runners. And I had to give all what I have in my body to come first. And I'm super happy that I managed to be first. I had a good battle with Nicole Miracle from USA, but I think 4 kilometers before finish, I managed to do a little gap and keep this gap till finish, so I'm super happy. It was fast and super hot.
So today we did the 10K, which was kind of the premier race of the whole weekend. I finished second just by a couple seconds. Honestly, it was such an incredible race. Me and Gregory were battling back and forth the entire time. It was such a beautiful, beautiful race, beautiful sport, beautiful sportsmanship.
I finished third place today. After second place yesterday, I was hoping, of course, for again a nice result. The speed was high from the start. I made again a small mistake, but overall I'm happy. I could fight my way back into the podium. Number 1 and number 2, Gregory and Ryan, they were too strong for me today, but I still enjoyed it. It was a nice race, and now I'm happy to relax and recover.
So today was much better than yesterday. I think we acclimatized a bit more to the heat, and the course, it was nice because we'd run it yesterday, and I had a really good battle with Ulrika from the beginning all the way to the end. It was such a great day out. I love the community, I love the vibe. It's nice to be in AlUla, and I couldn't be happier with the race.